is, of course, Shyvana, Thresh, Jinx, and the Lee Sin. And we should see these coming in very quickly.
Yeah, expect exactly the same from the Unicorns. I think they're happy enough doing Orianna into the Z matchup. When you run exhaust, and you can still go for that early arm guards, it's very tough for Z to kill you. And then your main objective is secure your own blue buff when it spawns the second time, so you can push out the wave and don't allow Z to just push it into your tower, which is what the Cho'Gath did against Orianna in the last matchup, and that opens up for roams. That's basically your only job, and just get all the farm you need. Unicorns invested heavily into early pink wards in the last game, despite not being able to defend them. I think that's something you have to adjust as well. You don't want to give up the entire river to SK, but then you place your green wards and you take your pink wards and move them a bit further back, near your own entrance to your own jungle instead, where SK has to overextend slightly to kill them.
A lot of pressure. We've broken down all of the decision making and the things that could affect these two team compositions. As we did say, there was a communication error, and I will get a confirmation from production shortly. I believe the last couple of picks were available to change. It is in fact going to be an Orianna change, so denying that one from PowerOfEvil. I personally like the fact they've got more AP, but now they've given away the team comp that won game 1, very similar at least to Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, so I understand that the change SK made, because they were afraid of the fact that if they didn't manage to snowball early on, Unicorns would have a fantastic late game. But we still sit in that situation. Okay, the change here for SK is the fact there's no Black Shield from Unicorns of Love to block a potential Flash Tippers engage or block a Shyvana jumping in on to either PowerOfEvil or Vardags. That's gonna make it better for them to start fights compared to in game 1 where we had the same setup from the Unicorns of Love. But they're gonna play the same way. Tier, Loot and Zeko for PowerOfEvil, hit level 11, then you start grouping and you start sieging down. Every ulti for him chunks people so hard that Jinx will get time to take down these towers here. Main engage from SK is either going to be Flash Tippers from nRated, or we're going to have flanks coming in from the Lee Sin and Shyvana to start it. They're going to have to be able to pull this one off. If you get the likes of a Mikhails for Hylissang, if you get a QSS for your carries, suddenly the Flash Tippers dies out, but then we have to go really late game now. And that's where Unicorns will then still have the edge in that situation.
Well, there's your two team compositions, everybody. You guys know what to do at home. At LOL Esports, hashtag SKWin or hashtag UOLWin. Will it end here? Will Unicorns go 3-1 and do battle with Fnatic in the finals? Or will SK pull it back to a game 5? Do you want to give you guys just an update as we load up onto the Rift? As we mentioned, that technical error regarding the communication meant that the last 3 picks in the pick ban rotation were permitted to be modified, and that is the reason that SK opted to lock in the Orianna instead of the Z this time round. As a result, PowerOfEvil decided to go with Kog'Maw. And that is why we have that small difference. And we're very interested to see PowerOfEvil's positioning against a Lee Sin and a Shyvana. I'm less hopeful than in game 1. But Unicorns had such a great game, and they showed that they really do know how to play around the sniping artillery of PowerOfEvil.
And SK Gaming has shown now 3 games, or well, 2 games, that if they don't have an assassin in the mid lane that can make plays on the map, they're very passive in the early game and simply don't seem to get the same leads we're used to watching from them. Now we're back on an Orianna here for SK Gaming. So this mid lane matchup is not going to involve a whole lot of action, except for the fact that maybe Svenskeren can join in, try and force a flash from PowerOfEvil, who's obviously running Ghost Flash for himself. We know what Unicorns of Love wants to do. Standard setup, we farm. We farm some more, we put defensive wards, then we farm a little bit more, and then we hit level 11 on PowerOfEvil and we say, let's go boys, and we start killing people.
Well, start your timers. Let's see if PowerOfEvil can do it again. We are going to get those standard lanes. Caitlyn, Annie going to start off on the bottom half with those Krugs. We do see Chachi jumping into the jungle. Take away the Wolves. Freddy on the Raptors. This is, once again, same story that you said, Deficio, in the current meta. It's all about the lanes, and your jungler has to find a way to impact the game.
We need some way of getting the mid laners to do a camp as well.
And then everyone starts in the jungle?
And then we finally show the junglers who's the boss. It's the laners.
Well, it is always the jungler's fault when you lose.
It is.
Everybody knows that. If you steal the camps and it's all equal, then there you go. So Kikis started off on his red buff.
Level 2 gank again. No flash Shyvana. Already used TP. Level 2 Sion. This can be very bad for Freddy.
A flash bear slap. That is the question. He's going to
How's
run
he going to
in.
escape? I mean, there's
There
red
is
buff.
bear.
There's
Red
CC.
buff plus slap plus knock up. No flash away. Freddy. Well,
I mean, okay. So, when you're SK Gaming and you already played Udyr once, who did a level 2 gank, red buff level 2 gank. When you watched the game last week, where there was also an Udyr doing red buff level 2 gank, you have to tell yourself, we're playing against him again. Where's he gonna start? Well, in order for him to do the level 2 gank, which we have to be afraid of, he's gonna start on the top side. What do we need to do then? We need, once we get to the lane, we have to place a ward. Otherwise, there's such a high chance he sits there and he kills our no-flash top laner. Zero respect for that one. First blood, you have the love.
Freddy has constantly shown that he can be in trouble, or he can play greedy. Oh, Hylissang, wow! He's hooked Forgiven! The Flame Chompers get them both! Vardags gets ignited, Forgiven is going to 90 caliber away. Hylissang's running him down. Summoner heal is up. One more rocket! Vardags has done it! Vardags and Hylissang have 2v2'd nRated and Forgiven. Now Vardags will go down to Svenskeren as he's trying to save the day for SK. But Hylissang, death sentence to safety. Sven's not done yet. I lied, he is. Sven gets one in reply. But Vardags and Hylissang, 3 games, they've done it again. They get an early advantage.
It's the same setup here. They know the ADC Caitlyn lane wants to poke them on the tower, so they wait just when the minions are about to die. They hook and pull them in with the trap, and you have enough CC to keep them under that tower. That's gonna switch over to them. Not a whole lot's gonna happen in the mid lane. I just want to go back very quickly to Freddy because his ward was on cooldown, like his totem was. But that's why you go back all the way to level 1, and then when do you place your ward? Well, you need to make sure you have yours ready in the laning phase for that level 2 gank. So, for the people calling that one out, still not an excuse.
Ooh. You'd make a very,
I'm just saying he's done it so many times.
very good disappointed father.
Kikis is done.
Oh, there's the flash, there's the bear, there's the slap. That's worth it. Freddy, 0-2. No flash, but you can't really prepare for that one.
That one you cannot do a whole lot again.
You can't prepare for that one.
I agree. It's only the first one.
But look bottom lane, Hylissang and Vardags, they're in trouble. nRated's got the stun, Sven's got the sonic wave. They're chasing him down, but he's still alive. That death sentence went wide, but they managed to survive a few seconds longer. Unicorns 3-1, kills, top, jungle, and ADC. They're off to a great start with a comp that, in theory, could have been bullied around a little in the respective lanes.
Still very, very far behind in the bottom lane, despite getting that kill. 30 CS for Forgiven is not exactly going to get a lot better for the Unicorns of Love in that situation. But what they're doing so well is they look at a losing matchup from the last game. They're signed into Shyvana, which ended up in Freddy just taking a tower on his own. Obviously also look at the fact he's not running with a flash because of the smite. So they decide to camp that lane, and I like that from the Unicorns of Love. That's been smart. Question is just, can Hylissang and Vardags slowly claw their way back in this lane? Because Annie and Caitlyn is still going to be such a bully lane. This is a nice hook, and Kikis is here.
I feel like we've seen this before so many times this series. Not respecting the hook. And it is just not a good day for nRated. However, do not forget, this is exactly how Game 2 started, with Unicorns of Love gaining an advantage after an advantage in 1 or 2 lanes. And all of a sudden, once nRated was able to get his Righteous Glory, they made impactful engages. So let's give it some time and see what SK can do. There's a Chachi with level 6. He's dived in with that unstoppable onslaught. Takes way too many turret shots and is forced to fall backwards, but trying to set up a kill, not securing it this time.
It's funny with Vardags on this Jinx. Because he will always lose the lane in terms of farm, but he will always get so many kills because of Hylissang setting it up for him. it's such a good combination for them. With that chain CC, he's still really, really far behind. If you look at the gold between them, they're even now in terms of gold. 2 kills for one, but so much farm for Forgiven on this Caitlyn.
Perfect example of a carry being carried by a support. But look in the middle lane, Deficio. Svenskeren is sneaking himself away and actually forced a flash and the ghost from PowerOfEvil. But here comes Hylissang and Kikis. I didn't even see them. We do see Fox get caught by the flay, but no follow-up.
No hook to try and bait a flash out.
Not this time around, but all of the summon is blown for PowerOfEvil as Fox is level 6.
And this happened against Gambit as well for him, man. We're gonna have to see Svenskeren come back to this mid lane now. Use the fact there's no summoners on PowerOfEvil on an immobile mid laner and gank him. You have to try and get a lead then in the mid lane that way, because you got the Lee Sin, you're gonna get level 6 fairly soon for him as well. Go in, ward jump behind him, kick him back, and that's another hook.
Wow, we can see that one connecting, but there's a lot of minions still in front, and despite the hook landing, it does not result in a favorable trade. All props to Forgiven in that one.
The Cannon minion just moved in, took the tower aggro. The plan was to pull Forgiven in there. But good guy Cannon minion is the hero.
Saving the day today. But Unicorns of Love maintain a gold lead. They're down summoners in this middle lane, and Svenskeren, when he's on this Lee Sin, he has something to prove. 64 CS to 65, top lane even, jungle even, despite the disparity in the bottom lane. Obviously those kills keeping things favorable for Vardags. Let's see where these items go, because double longsword and 1600 gold for Forgiven, 1500 gold for Vardags. We should be hitting those VF swords fairly soon.
Really see how Forgiven had a poor back timing. He was obviously forced back because he died, not exactly his own choice. Couldn't farm up that early BF sword. He does have gold for it now, so once he goes back, he's probably going to pick it up. 2v2 fight mid lane. This is not one Unicorns want to take.
Kikis is down, and red buff will be transferred. No, not yet! He had to flash for it. Oh, there we go, the turtle shield. Baiting both of us. We do see Chachi forced to knock Freddy away. He's in retreat. There's the shield up. Freddy, despite 0-2 down, is winning the trade. Super Mega Death Rocket goes out. Forgiven. Body blocks that one. It's action across the map. But it does not result in more than just one kill. Here comes Sven. Can he land the Sonic Wave? I'm willing to bet that he can. He's got flash available. He connects, follows in. We do not see the kill going out yet. Ignite is burning. Svenskeren gets one. Hylissang not able to reply because Forgiven heals him, keeps him up. This is game 2 all over again. Svenskeren has got the biggest backpack in Europe, and he's putting SK in it.
He's so good in this champion, and Unicorns of Love, we talk about how they don't want to fight in that mid lane in the 2v2 situation. Did it anyway, ends up dying for it, and then the bottom lane, as we've seen time and time again, just getting pushed in and poked down. Forgiven here.
The longest chase in Europe. Run, chicken. Run, chicken. By chicken, I mean the Phoenix stance, of course. Just to clarify. But they get Dragon. I think Forgiven for Dragon. That's a fair trade. Unicorns of Love, 5 kills to 4. They are now down in gold. They've lost a tower, they've lost a Dragon, and all of that early aggression has been nullified.
Completely. All thanks to Svenskeren. First winning a fight in the mid lane. He then knows there's no jungler, so there's no chance of a counter gang in the bottom lane, and he could walk down, fight between the 2 towers. Unicorns of Love is gonna regret that one, because it ended up costing him 3 kills, but picking a fight in the mid lane.
A whole bunch of them going on to Svenskeren again. He's finished up that Warrior, Enchant, Trailblazer, and got himself a Sightstone. The rest of SK picking up a few key items here. Theans and Holy Grail picked up for Fox. Needlessly Large Rod for PowerOfEvil. He's going the same item build, thus far at least, that we saw earlier in the day.
Gonna be Luden's Echo again, yeah. Can go for Leandre's second. Despite not building Rylai's and not really having any slows to give you the double damage from the Leandres, it's still simply just to poke people down. I mean, obviously he has his own E-slow, but that's not what you're expecting to land with the long range of the ulti. But his whole goal is just to poke people down, force them back to base, and you can fight over objectives then with the numbers advantage if you're the Unicorns of Love. And as we saw in the last game, or well, the last time we played it, when he got 10-0, in the end you just start walking around almost two-shotting people with your ulti. Poor nRated died, I don't know how many times to it.
It's going to be a long time before he can get to that point. in this game, I feel. Unicorn's not in the same level, or in the same position, I think is a better word. And also, Svenskeren and Lee, he really, really finds opportunities. He's in the right place at the right time. I think Kikis has done a good job in this video so far, but truthfully, Svenskeren is able to respond. It looks like they're going to trade towers if nobody from Unicorns can respond. For 3 members on this bottom lane. Everyone dodges the knock-up. There is a cannon minion there as well. A lot of damage being traded in this inner turret. We did see Vardags get the top lane. If Chachi sticks around, he could get jumped on. There's Sven, he's landed the Sonic Wave. He's actually going to follow it in, but mostly just to keep him away. Rest of Unicorn still unable to react. Chachi's decided to engage on Svenskeren. Decimating Smash is not going to land a knock-up. PowerOfEvil's got no... Oh, that's a flash hook! Forgiven gets caught, he's flayed backwards. We do see the command protect. It is going to be Shockwave on Chachi alone. Despite the flash hook engage, there's not enough damage to get the kill. Now Freddy has found one. PowerOfEvil's taken Forgiven, but the Captain Surprise is all that's left. He's split. He's not going to get nRated. And that's going to end up being a 3-for-1. As Chachi and Hylissang went aggressive, maybe they really should not have.
Well, the thing is, it looked good for the Unicorns with the flash hook here, but the problem was that PowerOfEvil and Kikis were taking a long way around the wall here, around the Grump as well, so they never managed to get in the fight when the engage happened. Forgiven stayed alive and turned it around before he goes down in the end. They will get a tower though with this Jinx. So the Unicorns, after all, can take down some of the outer turrets. This is a little bit greedy though, going for that blue buff. Just back away, be happy you just got a tower.
Oh, Vardags and Kikis in a little bit of trouble. There's a lot of support here.
Coming.
This is 3 versus 3. Lantern comes out, Sven follows through, 6-0-2. Svenskeren is unstoppable, 7-0-2.
Look what he did there. Connects the Q and he waits. He waits for the Lantern and then he activates the second one and flies with it. But this was the Unicorns of Love, getting a mid tower and then going for blue buff. 2 guys on their own. Okay, let's see it again. Engage here is fine from Unicorns of Love. They're not looking for a big team fight. They're looking for just 1 kill and then back away, because you can see how Vardags is super far away. But what goes wrong is after they have the hook, Pulsing Forgiven, Kikis, look at him down here. Look at PowerOfEvil near the Grump. They're so far away. All the Unicorns were looking for was just 1 kill, and then you move away, because your AD carry is gone. He can then push the mid lane, and that completely backfired because they were so split up. Half the team on one side of the wall, the other one in the middle of the lane. And then after they take that mid tower, they decide to go blue buff. 2 guys on their own. Giving over 2 more kills now. 7-0 for Svenskeren. And he's Danish.
Is that really relevant right now?
That's the most relevant thing of all.
Oh, that's the weirdest segue I've ever heard. 7-0-2. Svenskeren on Lee Sin is going massive once again. Mechanically just outplaying all of Unicorns of Love. Every single ability is connecting. He's in the right position. He's picking the right fights.
Yep.
He's bringing utility to SK and creating enough chaos that the rest of SK can position appropriately and wrap things up.
And he's just punishing Unicorns of Love for trying to fight him. Again, that's the whole thing started with him getting that 2v2 fight around the mid lane where they killed Kikis. Then he walked down bottom and gets 2 more kills. The 84% voting for Unicorns of Love might end up being a little bit disappointed if SK can keep snowballing. That's still the big question mark, because the Unicorns will have a fantastic late game.
It's simpler than that. If Svenskeren can keep snowballing.
Fair enough. We'll give him that one. But you got level 11 now on PowerOfEvil. You have Loot and Zeko. This is your big power spike where you start grouping. Have to see if he can connect the ultis. He's not running Athenes, as we talked about in the game 1, I believe it was. So you gotta land your ultis here because you don't have enough mana to just keep spamming them. Instead, you're aiming for more burst damage on every single one of them.
Freddy, with no TP, has roamed down to the middle lane. The rest of SK are on the Dragon. Teleport is being channeled for Vizicsacsi. He also has that ultimate available to him. He's off on the side lane. Kikis is pulling off the attention of 3 members of SK, but they have not secured the Dragon. The kickback after the flash forward, Svenskeren is going to allow Forgiven to drop down Kikis. Now the rest of Unicorns are in full retreat. That's a flash stun from nRated, and SK are running amok. 2 members caught up by the shockwave. The Fox is now out of mana, but it doesn't matter because PowerOfEvil is down. This has gone so wrong for Unicorns of Love. They've lost 3 members in the fight, the Dragon, and they get out clean. SK Gaming are dismantling the magical unicorn.
You said it before, Trevor. This is game 2 over again. A dragon already gone. SK picked it up. Unicorns deciding to go for the fight, despite once again being fairly split up, not landing any poke beforehand from PowerOfEvil. And SK Gaming with a 7-0 Lee Sin are happy taking the fight, getting a few kills, getting a mid tower, and now big goal lead.
And you've got to remember, nRated still does not have his Righteous Glory. You think of all of the engages in the mid game, he got the stuns onto PowerOfEvil when PowerOfEvil was playing that LeBlanc, in fact.
Yeah.
And if nRated can do that again, it's going to be even easier.
So we talk about it's a big power spike, PowerOfEvil hitting 11 and having Luden's Echo, but that's when you sit and poke, not when you go for an all-in fight, because you need so much more time to poke people down. So Unicorns going in for this one. You can see how uncoordinated it was even from the start. Half the team was already near SK Gaming. The other one was trying to run through a choke point. And SK Gaming, they punish you for it. They take the fight. Beautiful shockwave. And start cleaning house.
SK Gaming will be very happy with that turnaround. I don't want to talk too soon, but I do have to ask the question. Unicorns of Love have banned the same 3 champions every single game. Graves, Lucian, Lulu. If you go to a game 5 and you are red side pick again as Unicorns of Love, is Lee Sin worth banning? We'll explore that thought a little later as Freddy is able to avoid everything. Kikis unable to run in, Death Sentence doesn't connect. And Unicorns are 6,000 gold down, 2 towers down, 2 dragons down, 6 kills down. We're not even 20 minutes on the clock.
This is the SK Gaming we know.
And they don't even have an assassin mid lane. This is the SK we know without an assassin. They've even got scaling backup with Orianna.
But you need
an
assassin mid lane when you have an assassin in the jungle. In this case, no. For SK Gaming, how fed Sven is, how many plays he's been able to make. And once again, also just by Unicorns taking fights. Early game, when they have a fantastic late game, is where SK just punished him so hard.
Unicorns of Love able to defend the middle inner turret, and SK with a show of force invade the jungle. They're getting some very good vision inside the Unicorns' top half of the map, as Baron will be spawning shortly. So early on the clock, you can feel that with all the vision control, they could even bait it if they wanted, despite really not having the tank initial damage, but regardless, don't need to. Rest of SK on the inner turret. Unicorn so scared. Look at the damage on Hylissang. QW, and he simply is not available. SK gonna back away and take control of the rest of the jungle.
Yeah, start setting up around the bottom side whenever the dragon is about to respawn. Can be the next objective for them. And it's simply force Unicorns, if they want to fight, that is, to walk through a jungle you have completely warded up. And while you mentioned the Baron and how they are very squishy, it's very early on, all you want to do is more or less just create the illusion that you could do the Baron. And they have to walk in and check it. So it doesn't even matter if you can take it or not in that case, because if you get enough time, even 20 minutes in, you will get the Baron. You can just juggle the aggro pretty easily for SK Gaming. In that case, also why Unicorns have to place a ward, one outside. Securing the risk scuttle as well should give you enough control and vision to see if it is being started. And then instead focus on this dragon. If you go down and you pre-ward it now from the Unicorns, you can sit and poke them with PowerOfEvil. Problem is, nRated is already there. He's already placed everything SK needs except for the pink wards to say, we're gonna see Unicorns coming down. We're gonna get the fight. We can engage on them. They're not gonna get to sit and poke us while we try and clear out vision, which is what you have to do for PowerOfEvil here. Otherwise, you cannot take a fight.
We'll see if Unicorns can do it. 1 minute, 10 seconds on the clock. We did see Vardags pushing out the bottom lane. Chachi and the rest of Unicorns shoved out top, but it has been dealt with as Freddy is now dealing with all of those minions and pushing it back. Teleports available for both respective top laners. And look at SK's position. They've got deep wards again. The river's warded up. Unicorns have to just go through a almost minefield.
Yeah, not gonna move at all.
Not knowing where SK could be if they wanted to challenge for it. But you have to think they'll give this one up
They have
only challenge on number 5 because they're simply too far behind at this stage.
And that's what happens if you take some of the wrong fights earlier. You get punished simply in the long run for them. So this is going to be another Dragon for SK Gaming. Fairly early on still they get the third one. And now they can simply just keep playing around Dragons and Barons every single time. And then Unicorns at some point is going to be forced to walk into that jungle, try and see if you're doing the Baron or the Dragon, the 5th one that is in the future. And then SK Gaming can get the perfect flank, which is what they need against a composition that has so much kite. And what we highlighted as one of the problems before the game started, before this happened. And also why I didn't want to predict anything. Because how are you going to predict that Svenskeren will be 7-0 and just kill everyone?
Seeing his 2 Lee Sin games today, if he gets it again, SK 3-2? Don't know.
The worst thing is, it's not even the Lee Sin itself. It could have been a Rek'Sai in this case. It could have been Nidalee.
Well, Rek'Sai couldn't have followed the Lantern.
I agree. Could have knocked him up instead, and then he wouldn't get to take the Lantern.
Touche, I'll give you that.
But the problem is more that, again, the Unicorns pick a very slow scaling comp and then take fights. That's why SK Gaming gets all the gold. So if they pick the same composition for the next game, where they, again, as you said, are red side, you should have learned from this one.
I think we actually have to look at the gold specifically between Forgiven and Vardags. 227 CS to 169. 9,300 gold to 7,500. That is a massive, massive difference on a guy that started the lane 2-1. Vardags is so heavily carried by Hylissang in the laning phase. And yes, he has to deal with Caitlyn Annie, let's be very fair. That is an annoying lane for anybody to deal with. But that is a very, very large amount of CS to be down at the 25-minute mark.
Very, very true. SK, as you can see, not really feeling like they have to push any advantage at this point. You got the potential 5th Dragon, you got the Baron bait, and you can simply wait for Unicorns to make a move and then try and punish them for it. So if you just push every single lane now, force them down either near their own tier 2 tower or all the way back in base, then you take over the jungle after, and that's what you play around. They're even buying a lot of pink wards, and Freddy upgraded his totem in this game here. I think he didn't do in the last few games he's played.
And also some credit to SK for not playing risky. They're not putting themselves in positions where they could get punished. However, they are also giving Unicorns some time. Vardags is farming his way up. We see the Haunting guys secured for PowerOfEvil. It's not doing a whole lot against Forgiven. He's landing the odd living artillery, and then Forgiven is just sustaining. But Deficio, we touched on Baron a few minutes ago. There is this threat that we were talking about. Let's see if anyone can get caught out. Kikis trying to run Forgiven down. He's got the Summoner heal already. Teleport comes out from Freddy. Box used to disengage. Svenskeren, he flashes onto Kikis. That's a dead bear man. Unicorns of Love, without their smite and without one of their key frontliners, what can they do?
This is still risky for SK. You're standing in the Baron pit. PowerOfEvil can poke you. Sion can get in there and has the mass amount of CC.
He's managed to find Fox. He's going to not get the decimating smash. We do see the death sentence from Hylissang, but it's not enough. Keep your eyes on Vardags and his HP. He's forced to flash away. Vizicsacsi's in trouble. Super Mega Death Rocket does not secure kills, nor does the death sentence. Rocket off the rocket. nRated plays the sacrificial lamb, but it secures a kill onto Vardags, as Vardags needed to get those auto attacks down. Not a lot of mana for PowerOfEvil, so unable to spam those living artilleries. Death sentence connects on his Svenskeren. Will they get the kill credit? It does not look like it. Living artillery unable to secure the kill in 8-0-4. Despite all of the kills, Unicorns stopped the Baron. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing.
It was for sure the important one here for them. SK starting it despite still having so many members of Unicorns around it. Look at the damage here onto the back line of SK Gaming. The fact that you lock down one of them and then you start sniping them with PowerOfEvil, and now they just keep kiting back. The damage is insane. So close. The 2 kills, and the rocket just smacks into the face of nRated, who ends up going down. So does Vardags, however.
And that could have also been very different. I'm fairly confident that was a 3-man Tibber stun, just in the bottom half of the river. What nRated is showing is his ability to read mid-game and team fights is significantly better than his laning impact. He always seems to catch targets with Tibbers in the mid-game. And it is very impactful. Still does not have that Righteous Glory completed. Gonna give SK more tools. But a little bit of stall. 7,000 gold the lead. 3 dragons to 0 with a minute and a half until the next one. And look at SK setting up control in the river, in the jungle. Will Unicorns be brave enough to fight? I don't think so, but...
Well, they're gonna be forced into some fights because we can see that SK with their comp, only Shyvana can really be a spade pushing threat here. You don't want to put your Orianna or your Caitlyn in one of the side lanes, so it's going to be like a 1-4 setup. That means Unicorns will have to sit and defend with the likes of PowerOfEvil in the mid lane, try and land some poke, and if they do get them low, they can still start fights. SK is going to be grouped together for the most part, and they have to just dance around the ultis. So we will get the big team, but we're not going to get a spade pushing war where you just slowly lose everything in this sense here.
45 seconds before Dragon. The rest of Unicorns, they're actually sitting on Baron. There's a pink ward in here. There's nothing from SK. Is anybody from SK going to react? This is going to take a very long time. Vardags may even run out of mana. They're outside of vision. The thing is, SK, will they smell something's up? Look at the minimap.
So there are 2 guys showing in mid lane, and also SK setting up for
comes
Dragon.
Freddy. Freddy's got Dragon's Descent, 4,000 hit points. The rest of SK are about to react. They're going to peel away. The desperation play not working out, but now all of a sudden Freddy's managed to cut off PowerOfEvil. The rest of Unicorns are sitting in their jungle. Power's trying to get back. Unicorns peeling in their own jungle. PowerOfEvil unpunished. What was blown other than HP and time? No summoner spells that I can see. Risky play, but it did not backfire.
It will be another Dragon for SK. What Unicorns here were trying to do was hope that SK would invest everyone on the Dragon and just go down and take it, and they would trade it to the 4th Dragon for the Baron. Because Freddy walked down through the lane though and placed the ward, it was spotted. In the end, cost him a tower. 4th Dragon. SK Gaming is back to doing exactly the same they were before. Nothing has changed in the game itself, other than in 6 minutes, potential 5th one for SK.
I do think all the praise to SK. They gave up kills, did not even matter, right? Freddy is so far ahead in CS, and Shyvana is just getting beefier and beefier. Svenskeren, again, backpack. He's just carrying SK. That was optimistic. But I think a little bit of forethought for the Unicorns. Had SK invested the same amount of people, had the Dragon time had been a little closer, maybe they could have snuck that Baron, but sadly it was not the case.
Right.
And it means Unicorns haven't given up yet, but this is the most ridiculous comeback that would need to happen. This is the Mount Everest of comebacks. 10,000 gold at 30 minutes against the engaged power of a Shyvana Lee Sin with a fairly fed, fairly farmed Orianna.
So the only problem for SK in terms of closing out the game is when they do start this Baron here, as long as PowerOfEvil is nearby, and SK Gaming doesn't completely control the jungle, so he can still walk in fairly safe. You can see there's a Ward of the Raptor camp from Unicorns of Love, so he can at least walk in there. He can try and land poke when you're stuck in his Baron pit, but he needs to be there now, and he's not. He's in the base. So this is a very good Baron start for SK. As long as they make sure it doesn't get stolen. That was a good play.
Kikis flashed over, gets kicked back. We do see the Sonic Wave into resonating as Freddy will be able to secure a kill with the help of Forgiven. Now Freddy and Svenskeren, they're dealing with a couple members of Unicorns of Love. Where's the rest of the team? Freddy's caught out, his Dragon Descent is slowly burning away. Disengage Flame Chompers as Unicorns try to peel backwards. And it's simply not going to be enough. Baron secured. It was destroyed by SK Gaming. And this is going to allow them to begin sieging with Baron-empowered minions. This is the last inner turret standing. And I don't think it'll be standing for particularly long.
All the tools to take it down as long as they don't get hit by too many of these ultis from PowerOfEvil. That's obviously why they didn't go for the siege before. And we see it engaged despite Kikis being very far away.
Hylissang has got a fight with Svenskeren, but it's not the fight that you want. He's got the tanks at least keeping his attention. Nobody else from Unicorns is there. Death Sentence onto Freddy, but he just gets melted by Fox. There's simply not enough damage. Shockwave does not actually connect on anybody as they manage to dodge it and get away. Decimating Smash goes out. Super Mega Death Rocket. Will it pick up a kill? I don't know just yet. Freddy's down low and Vardags has not been able to fire it. Unicorns get a tower thanks to minions. SK Gaming do not lose anybody, and they start sieging up the inhibitor turret. No support from Hylissang, Baron empowered minions. Again, look at the mana. PowerOfEvil cannot spam any more of those living artilleries. Death Rocket does nothing. Here comes Chachi. He's teleporting in. He's got no ultimate to chase and instantly stunned as he arrives. Means any form of re-engage is disengaged. PowerOfEvil is still running, but there's no mana. You're a beautiful butterfly that can do nothing but flap your wings. One more shot. Is it there? No! We do see the zap go wide. Kikis gets shut down by Forgiven. SK Gaming looking to close the game right now. Double kill as Vizicsacsi forced to run away. Does find a lantern. Finally, PowerOfEvil throws another living artillery, but again, it's just not enough. There is no mana regen, there is no blue buff, and there is no impact once there is no mana.
Yeah, very, very true. Unicorns seem like somewhat of a, hey, let's just try and take a fight and see what happens, because they went in when PowerOfEvil was already out of mana in the first place. SK Gaming just kept kiting around. We'll also get, of course, Forgiven gets all the farm marine. Who else would get it? But the man, 33 minutes in, over 100 CS ahead of Vardags.
Is that a bear kick? Right, we'll ignore that one then. 14,000 gold down. Unicorns of Love have only got inhibitor turrets left standing. Deficio cares not for my jokes. As SK now need to crack the base of Unicorns. No home guard boots on PowerOfEvil. The only reason I think that would be relevant is if his wave clear is to help Unicorns defend, he needs to be able to get in and out. Kikis is going to get shut down if he gets caught out. We don't see the Shockwave picking up a kill, but Svenskeren unable to connect. He's going to flash forward, and he should be able to solo Vardags. He's got the damage. He Dragon Rage kicks him in the head. In the background, Kikis was taken out by Fox. SK, 2 men to the good. Now sieging up on the middle inhibitor turret. PowerOfEvil can spam for days, but it's not going to do anything against SK Gaming. Baron's not even needed, and Vizicsacsi is being dropped down. Wow, Svenskeren even follows him in. Death Sentence does not connect. Inhibitor's going to drop. Attack into Dissonance, into auto attacks, into Fox going godlike. 7-0-10, 9-0-8. Vizicsacsi manages to find Pride Rock and gets shut down where he stands. Not even able to get the kill there onto Fox. Fantastic, fantastic performance from SK Gaming. Oi! It's the little things that count. That's the confidence kill.
Hey, it doesn't mean the game is not over yet because of that one.
Let's be fair. I feel it's a matter of time.
Right. I mean,
SK
right
Gaming
now.
nRated's trying to get away from this one. Kikis unable to chase with that bear stance. What a fantastic, fantastic turnaround. Freddy's even picked up a Face of the Mountain, if I'm looking at that correctly.
It's going to be a dragon now for Unicorns. And
okay, so they'll delay Dragon 5. I don't think that's a... Well, we'll see. Teleport coming in from Freddy. This is not a done deal. Remember, he has
Sven is going to steal this one. Calling it right now.
Sven to steal, Deficio. We'll keep our eyes on him. Vardags low. PowerOfEvil running out of mana. Kick back from Kikis. Svenskeren has got Smite available. Got the help. He's going to go back in. Sven steals. Well, secures it. That's not really a steal. Dragon number 5. 22 kills to 8. There is nothing left to hold SK back. Unicorns of Love have to bounce back and have to dig deep. We are going to a Game 5. Both semi-finals in Europe. Okay, wait. SK, let's finish it first. Then we'll get to the hype moments. Let's agree with that. I'm getting excited for this.
Well, if they do Group 5 now, we're walking to the base of the Unicorns of Love.
Deficio, is Sion worth banning?
No. Playing correctly in the early game is what you should do.
They've not done it both times. Sion's been there.
No, but then he picks Rek'Sai. He destroys you. He picks Nidalee. He destroys you. I mean, if you lose because you take bad fights in the early game against a composition that's a lot stronger in the early stages of the game, because of the jungle pick, if you look at the match between the two junglers, well, I hate to say it, but it's not like Sion is an OP pick. I do think Sven is fantastic on it.
Yep, but it's not the champion, it's the player.
It's the player here for me.
Here comes Chachi! There goes Chachi! Unicorns of Love tried to make one last-ditch effort. It does not work. Shockwave connects. Vardags is booted backwards. Here comes Freddy. The Death Rocket does not secure death for anybody. Chachi in the back line trying to hold off Svenskeren. Will he go down? And yes, he will. It's Hylissang that gets the shutdown gold. But it is too little too late. As Unicorns of Love, their base is in tatters. Super Minions onto the Nexus turrets as they continue the fight. It's a 2-for-1 as one last Nexus turret is standing. It is being shredded away by the Tibbers Bear and Forgiven. Forgiven founds PowerOfEvil. He takes him down. The Nexus is being shredded. And Deficio, we are going to Game 5.
Just like in Game 2, SK Gaming change up the pick and ban phase, get more lane pressure here. The Caitlyn pick now twice instead of the Tristana. Means they're destroying the bottom lane into the farm. They do give up a few kills here and there. Bottom lane, despite all the, the top lane, we had all the ganks early on from Kikis. Gave a great start. However, it just wasn't enough because then you started fighting around the mid and the bottom lane where you were still weaker because of this Lee Sin pick or just because of an early jungler for Svenskeren. I wouldn't be surprised to see it being banned just because you feel like that's the champion doing all the work. Yeah. But I still think it's more the player knowing when to invade in, when to pick the fight, and just punish Unicorns of Love for clearly not knowing it, seeing as it's 2 games now where they take early fights despite having the late game scaling composition, which is very strange because that's something between the games, you know, as a team and a coach, you discuss and say, okay, guys, okay, we have a comp like this. Don't try and look for these early fights here. Also, credit to SK. I guess we are making it a little bit harder for it because SK is forcing them on.
Correct, that's what I was going to say.
It's not just Unicorns like running at them.
Unicorns are committing to the fights that Svenskeren is starting.
Yes.
I think that's the best way to explain it because Sven is finding every single opportunity. If somebody's left a door unlocked or a window open, he is sneaking his way into the Unicorns area of the map and simply running amok. Because
when every lane is pushing to the enemy tower, nothing can stop you from running in. You're not afraid of the Udyr. Like, he can do whatever he wants. And they can't roam from the lanes because they're standing there farming under their towers. So he gets to force these fights here on the Unicorns, and they take them and get punished for it. So clearly for SK Gaming going into the last game here, somewhat of the same setup here. Can still be an assassin mid lane, which I think is the best for SK Gaming. Not that Orianna here was bad, because also a takeaway, I guess, from the Unicorns of Love in that situation. But more of the same style. And if you can't win that lane 2v2, and if you fall this far behind in farm, despite getting kills, I'd much rather try and see you go for that lane, so at least try it, so you don't end up in this situation where you just fall that far behind. And then it's just a matter of time before someone walks down and kills you.
There are so many things to consider for both of these teams. We'll find out what they decide to do. We are going to a Game 5. And for a look at how